Go get him, man. Go get him.
Hey, everybody. What's up? As you see, I'm a school teacher, and I'm really excited to be here. I teach 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. I teach math and global studies, and actually, I just left my class about an hour ago. I was teaching 5th grade about ancient Greece and came here to make this speech, and I'm so excited because I love it. It's in my blood. It's my bones. I know teaching is what I was meant to do, and the school that you just saw where I teach is part of a dream. And it's a dream that came true. And it's a dream that started way back when I started my first teaching career in North Carolina. When I first got into the classroom, I was trying to find ways to fire the kids up, to get them excited about learning, to really challenge my students. And I realized that I was having success with my kids. When I looked around the school, I realized I didn't see that type of a change everywhere. And what I realized was that in our country, to be an educator, you go to college for 4 years. And then what you do is you go and you sit in your classroom for 30 years and you teach right there, and then you leave. And it's almost taboo for us to go in other people's rooms to learn from each other. So some teachers teach an entire career and they never see what excellence in the classroom looks like. And it really bothered me. I ended up teaching there for 5 years. At the end of the 5th year in North Carolina, I saw a TV show one night on 2020. It was about these schools in Harlem that have violence and overcrowded classrooms and a lack of teachers. I said, Mama, I think I'm going to go teach in Harlem. And she said, they kill people in Harlem, don't go. I said, no, it's a beautiful place, I'm going. I went up to New York City, found one of the schools and started teaching there. I was eventually named as the American Teacher of the Year because the methods I was using were really working. I got to be on the Oprah Winfrey Show, and that was awesome. And I was sitting there with Oprah, and I was talking about my methods, and during the commercial, she leaned over, she kicked her shoes off, and she said, you need to write a book. You got to write a book about this. And y'all know when Oprah tells you to write a book, you write a book, right? So I wrote a book called The Essential 55, and the Essential 55, it was based on my grandmama's rules. My grandmama raised me. She always said, who you are is how you treat people. She said, your definition will be written by your interaction with others. She was really big on making an impact on the world. And she was big on manners, respect, discipline. And when I taught, those were things I put into my classroom. And so I wrote this book, and when it came out, no one knew about it. It was ranked 140,000 on Amazon.com. I said, I'm going to send this book to Oprah. And so I sent it to her, and she made it one of her book picks. And I got to go back on the show, and I was sitting there with her, and I was some kind of nervous. And all of a sudden, during the interview, she just stopped, and she held the book up to the camera, and she said, America, I want you to go out right now and buy this book. And then she held it close to her, and y'all know when Oprah holds something up on top of her bosom, that's all it takes. That's it. Because 1 hour after the show, it was #2 in the nation. It was awesome. It was right behind Harry Potter. It was really cool. And so the money from the book went into a foundation, and that foundation was used to start a dream. And that foundation's dream is here in Atlanta. I was going to start a school in Harlem. But at the time, the American Middle School Teacher of the Year was named Kim Bearden. She was in Atlanta. I called her and said, Kim, you got to come up to Harlem. We're going to start a school. We're going to change the world. And she said, I'm not moving my family to Harlem, but if you come to Atlanta, I'll start the school with you. So I said, okay, you're worth it. I came down to Atlanta. I looked around. We were in downtown Atlanta in the second highest crime-rated area at the time, and we found this old 100-year-old factory. The windows were busted out. There was barbed wire and cobwebs. There's a drug house right there, streetwalkers right in front of it. And we looked at it, and we said, this is it. We're going to build a school here, and this school will change the world. Now, we're a nonprofit, so we went and got the board members, and they came to see, and when they got out of the car, they said, y'all, get back in the car, get back in the car. I said, no, it's going to be great, it's going to be great. And they said, y'all, if you put a school here in the middle of this neighborhood, the community will destroy it. I said, no, they won't, they're going to love it. They said, trust us, you're going to have problems. I said, no, they won't, they're going to love it. And so we used the money to buy that old factory, and during the first 6 months of construction, we had 19 break-ins. As soon as we had put something in there, somebody try and get in there to get it. And a lot of people told us, we told you so. We told you you couldn't put that school in that neighborhood. But we said, you know what? I tell my students all the time, don't make excuses, find solutions. I'm going to find a solution. So I got my backpack, and I went to every house in the neighborhood. It took 4 months. I went and knocked on every door. I say, hello. My name is Ron Clark. I'm a school teacher. I'm trying to start this school up the street. Can I tell you about it? And I show them the packet and information. I talked to the drug dealers. I talked to the streetwalkers, everybody. And I went up to one house, and I didn't want to go up there because the guys were drinking beer on the front porch. And I didn't want to go up there, but I said, I can do it. I can do it. And I said, all right. And I said, hey, y'all. And they said, are you a Mormon? I said, no, I'm a school teacher. And they said, what do you want? I said, I want to tell you about something. I said, I have a dream. And my dream is that I want to build the most incredible school in the world, a school that's filled with passion, energy, and creativity. I want to go around the country and find National Teachers of the Year, the best teachers in every discipline. I want to bring them to one place, put them in this school, and tell them to teach with freedom, to go forward, and to do whatever it takes to get kids to be successful. But then what we're going to do is we're going to invite the world to come to Atlanta. We're going to invite all teachers all over the country and around the world to come to our school, to sit in our classrooms, to take notes, to learn about our methods, and to take our methods out to their schools. It's going to be the most amazing school in the world. When people think of innovation and creativity and education, they're going to think of this school right here in this neighborhood, right here in Atlanta, Georgia. That's what we're going to build. And this guy said, if that school had been here when I was growing up, I'd have been something. And the other guys were like, yeah, we would have too. I said, well, could you help us make this school something for these kids? And they said, yeah, we'll help. They came out to pick up trash with us, help paint the factory. We do community trash pickups to the neighborhood, and we'd be picking up trash together. And I'd look over and I'd see the streetwalkers just staring at us. And I'd call them over to help too. Because y'all look, if you call over the streetwalkers, they will come every time. They'll come every time, I promise. And they wouldn't help much, but what happened was we bugged them so much, they eventually left. And the police told us when you bring good energy to an area, negativity leaves. And now, y'all, that school is that most amazing place filled with creativity and passion. We have now had 18,000 superintendents, principals, teachers, curriculum directors from all over the world come to our school, spend time with us, learn what we're doing, and take our methods out. Usually every Friday, we have about 200 people come from all over the world. We have started a revolution. The impact that we've seen across the country that's going on in schools and districts and all over these classrooms because of what we've shown and how education can be different, it is powerful. And right in the middle of our school, we have a symbol of everything we're doing. It is a huge 2-story electric blue tube slide. It's how our kids get from their second floor classes to the first floor classes. They slide. Like if they're late for science class, they go, I better slide. And they jump in it and they go, and you go flying through the slide to your class. And if we know people are coming, we wax that sucker too, and it's good and fast. But the slide is more than just a means of transportation. Thus, it's a symbol. We say in life, a lot of people are just taking the stairs. They're doing what everyone else has done before them. They're trying the same methods. They're not doing anything different. They're living a boring life. But life is a blessing. And if you don't live life to the fullest, you are denying that blessing. And sometimes you got to go for it. You got to take a different path. You got to try something unusual. And that's what our school has done. We've tried to make a different path, and it's led to great success not only for our kids, but now for the 10 million children that have been affected around our country by the impact these superintendents, principals, and teachers who have been in our school have made on them. That is what we do. So if you come to our school, what do you see? How is it so different? What makes us unusual? Number one, rigor. We are flat pushing these kids because we think we have dumbed down education in this country. When I first started teaching, I had gifted kids in my class, I had some average kids, and I had low kids. And I said, how do I teach all these kids at the same time? And the other teachers told me, teach to the middle, hit them all the best you can. And so I taught to the middle, and what I found was when I taught to the middle, they got a good education. These kids had somewhere to get to. My gifted kids were chilling. They were sitting back. They were making straight A's and not really working very hard. And we'd go to the honor roll certificate award ceremony, and they would all get the straight A certificate, and the parents were like, my baby's gifted. My baby's in the gifted program. And I would think ignorance is bliss because their babies are gifted in an education system that has been dumbed down. We don't teach here in America. We don't even teach here in America. We teach here. If you think of all our major funding initiatives, Title I, Stimulus Plan, No Child Left Behind, everything is geared toward these kids. But when you look around the world, Finland, China, Russia, India, other countries sinking money into gifted programs, and in America, we're not even paying attention to gifted programs or funding gifted programs in this country. We have decided as a country to put our energy and effort here. And I'm going to be honest. If you come to my school, I got all these types of kids in my class, every single one of them, and these are the kids I love working with the most. If they can't get it, baby, I want to make sure you got it. I'm going to work with you till you get it. I'm going to slow this down. We're going to get it. What I decided to do 18 years ago, I didn't want to meet their needs by doing that and do a disservice to these kids at the same time. So I decided to flip things around. I decided to find my brightest kid in my class. I said, you know what I do? I'm going to do, instead of teaching here, I'm going to teach here. And I'm not only going to teach my gifted kid, I'm going to hold every kid in the class accountable for this level. I want to push this kid. Every day when he comes in, I want him to say, this is hard. I'm going to have to pay attention. I'm going to study tonight. But what I decided to do was hold every kid to that level. And some tell me, Ron, you're being naive. These kids can't get it. They got learning disabilities and problems. And I think in our country, as soon as we put a label on kids, we lower expectations. Putting a label on kids means we need to reach them differently. It doesn't mean we should lower expectations. I said, I'm going to leave the same expectation for all these kids because the more you expect, the more you're going to get. And I went in there teaching, trying to teach to my gifted kid. And I know some of you are probably educators in here. Can anybody tell me what happens when a gifted kid who's never not understood something, always made straight A's, what does he do when suddenly he doesn't understand something? Gets his mama to call you. That's it. Freaks out. Look, I got a teacher right here in church on the front row. Gets the mama to call you, freaks out, cries, and that's what my gifted kids do. Do y'all know why gifted kids freak out and cry when they don't understand something? It's because they've never been challenged. And you know what? They become 25, 30-year-old people still living home with their mama because they don't understand why the world's being so hard on them. We are not preparing these kids for the real world. And it drives me crazy. Corporations say that American graduates, the smartest American graduates, will come in at 24 years old, filled with confidence, sit in an interview and say, I'll have your job in 2 years. They're confident, but they lack a work ethic. They don't know what it means to really work hard because we have never pushed them. And so I decided to push these kids, but the problem was they started crying and freaking out. So I decided to blend it with some passion. For example, my first year here in Atlanta at the Ron Clark Academy, I went and I said, I'm teaching fifth graders. They are not on grade level in math. They only outscored 37% of the nation. I'm going to teach them eighth grade algebra. And Kim Bearden and the other teachers said, Ron, you can't teach fifth graders who aren't on grade level eighth grade algebra. It won't work. I said, look, the more you expect, the more you're going to get. You're going to watch. And I went in there like a tornado, teaching eighth grade algebra. And it did not work because the kids freaked out. And it was so hard, so I went and got these balloons. I blew them up. I put a balloon on every desk with a magic marker. And the kids came in. They said, oh, Mr. Clark, what are the balloons for? I said, hurry up. You got 2 minutes to solve this problem. You got to solve this algebra problem on the balloon. If you get it right, I'm going to let you pop it. Hurry up. And the kids came running in. Balloons went all on the floor, everywhere, magic markers. It was crazy. And then in 2 minutes, I said, all right, markers down, turn to balloons. And they turned them, and 2 kids got it right. I said, you 2 kids may pop your balloons. And they said, pop, pop. And the other kids said, can we pop our balloons? I said, no, you had to get the problem right to pop it. But I tried. I was like, I'm so glad you tried, but you got to get the right answer. But it's not fair because he knocked my balloon on the floor. I said, well, part of the game says you had to get the balloon, you had to get it right. Please? And I looked at those kids and I realized they really thought I was going to let them pop that balloon. Do you know why they expected me to let them pop it? Because we have wussified America. We have raised soft children. We have coddled these babies. Baby, as long as you try, it's going to be okay. Why are we lying to these kids? In the real world, as long as you try, is not cutting it. And why does every kid on a Little League team have to get a trophy? They all ain't that good. Why they got to get a trophy? This drives me crazy. We are raising kids with a mentality they live in a socialist country. It's capitalism. But yet we're raising these kids one way, then expect them to be successful in another way. I have a mom at my school, Miss Cooper. She got 6 kids. We were at a basketball game in February. Her 4-year-old daughter was going down the stairs and tripped. She went head first down the stairs. Boom, boom, boom. I thought this little girl's neck was broken. I thought she might be dead. I went to run to get her. Miss Cooper grabbed me. She said, Mr. Clark, don't go over there. Ain't nobody got time for that. And I said, what? I looked up. That little girl brushed herself off. She kept on going. She was like, and her mama said, Mr. Clark, kids will be what you treat them to be. She said, if you had walked over there and said, baby, are you all right? She would have screamed so loudly. Everyone in here would have called 911. I'd have been at a hospital ER room all night. Ain't nobody got time for that, Mr. Clark. And she's right. Kids will be what you want them to be. I bake cookies for my kids. And when I bake cookies for my kids, I put love in it. Because when you cook, you got to put love in it. My grandmama taught me how to cook. I had to roll out the chicken and pastry with her. And I'd try and roll it out real fast because there's a lot of pastry. And she'd slap my hands. She said, Ron, slow down. If you roll it too fast, the food won't taste good. I said, it's just flour. It's going to be the same whether or not it's fast or slow. She said, get that look on your face and listen to me, boy. You better roll it slow. And so I'd roll it slow like this. And she's saying, get that look off your face. If you're in a bad mood when you cook, you're going to make the people sick. I was like, what? My grandmama thought that the energy you put in food goes into the people that eat it. And that's why she said you got to cook with love. So when I bake for my kids and I bake cookies, I put the music on, let the negativity go, and I bake with love. And then I take these cookies to the kids and say, you know what? You deserve one of these cookies. These are special cookies. You got the highest math award. You deserve one of these cookies. I told this girl in North Carolina, I said, you need to work harder, and you deserve one of these cookies. She said, I ain't getting a cookie. I said, no, you got to work harder. I've been telling you, you got to work harder. That night, I got a phone call from her mama. Mr. Clark, why are you picking on my child? I said, oh, my goodness, must be a misunderstanding. Well, she is frantic. She is in her bedroom. She is crying. She said that you told the kids you had special cookies and that you skipped her, and she's frantic, and so I cannot believe you would do something like that. So I called the other mothers and got them to ask their children to see if they indeed, in fact, saw that you did skip my daughter, and I cannot believe they all said you did, and so now we're all very upset with you, Mr. Clark. Why would you do this? I said, oh, my goodness. I said, this is a misunderstanding. I said, I was just trying to find a way to inspire kids. I told them if they worked hard, they'd get a cookie. I thought maybe I wouldn't give your daughter a cookie this time, and that would inspire her to work harder. So next time, when she gets the cookie, it means something to her. It's like, it's self-esteem. She would earn it. So, Mr. Clark, there shouldn't be a next time. If you're not going to bake enough cookies so that every child can have a cookie, you should not be baking cookies. I said, I bake plenty of cookies. In fact, I think I ate your daughter's cookie. And so, no. Wrong thing to say. She was furious. But that's the mentality we have. Why does every kid got to get a cookie? We're setting these kids up for failure. And so I told those kids, you are not popping those balloons. You have to pay attention to this algebra lesson, and maybe you can pop tomorrow's balloon. But you got to focus, and maybe you'll get tomorrow's problem right. So I had these little fifth graders who were dying to pop this balloon, watching me like this, trying to understand the eighth grade algebra. The next day when they came in, they grabbed those balloons. You could have heard a pin drop. All of a sudden I said, all right, time's up, markers down, turn the balloons. Over half the class got it right. The next day they came in, almost the whole class got it right. These kids were excited, they were focused. But once you popped the balloon, you popped it. So I had to mix it up. The next day they came in, had a piece of chalk on every desk. They said, Mr. Clark, where are the balloons? I said, no balloons today. They have to do it in chalk. They said, where? I sat outside on the concrete. They ran outside. They were solving all the problems I had written on the concrete. It was great. The next day I met them in the hallway, having a big bag of sunglasses. They said, Mr. Clark, what are you doing out here? I said, y'all, today's algebra problem, I think it's impossible. They said, really? I said, do you think we can solve it? They said, yes, sir. I said, do you think we can solve it? They said, yes, sir. I said, put these sunglasses on. Maybe it'll help. I had someone in my classroom play the Mission Impossible music. Dun, 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 dun. We crawled down the hall. My room was pitch dark. We pulled up to the seats. And the kids, I said, y'all, all right, here's the problem. Turn on the lights, but leave on the sunglasses. They're going to help us out. And those kids were so excited. And it was just minor things. The kids said, sometimes we got balloons to pop in there, and sometimes we got to do the Mission Impossible, and there's chalk. These kids started getting so excited. And I was trying to teach them to do the order of operations, but they thought it was boring. So I took the words to this song by Rihanna called Umbrella, and I changed the words, and we danced. We went like this. When we begin together, parentheses first, now please be clever. Exponents come right next in line. Then you multiply and divide at the same time. Now subtraction and addition, walk it out with computation. It's the order of operations. It's the order of operations. Asians, A plus order of operations. And the kids went crazy. And they loved it. And these kids who weren't on grade level in math in 5th grade were trying to do 8th grade algebra. It was awesome. And what's your name? Sarah. Let's say, for example, and if Sarah got a question right, I said, oh my gosh, y'all, I put passion in there. I said, Sarah got it right. Is Sarah on? And everyone would go, wipe her down. Don't y'all know the song? It's I'm on, wipe me down. Some of y'all on the wrong channel, but it's all right. It said, is she on? Wipe her down. Let's do it, everybody. I'm going to say, is Sarah on? And you all go, wipe her down. Is Sarah on? Wipe her down. You think I can't see you. Where's your passion? What I'm showing you right now is the key. If you are a boring speaker, your kids can be bored. Where is your passion in life? If you want people to believe in what you're doing, whether it's a concept, a lesson, you got to have passion. I want to see your passion. Wipe her down. Is Sarah on? Wipe her down. I still see some of you didn't do it. That's why you're here to learn how to make your dream come true and not having a dream. And I'm telling you what you got to do. You got to have some passion, people. Come on. And so what happened is these kids, the classroom started changing. And when visitors come to our school in Atlanta, that's what they see. They see us passionate, they see engaged, but some teachers will say, I ain't wiping children down. Like them. And they'll say, I don't feel like rapping. I don't know how to do that. So some of the things we show are simple. It's eye contact. When you're in front of people, where are you looking? Look in the eyes of the kids. You have to make a connection. Some people are so concerned with teaching a lesson or looking at a board, they miss the kids, and you got to move. I hate that teachers will sit on a stool and teach all day. I call it the stool of drool. You know what the problem is? Teachers will sit on a stool in high school English and teach all day on that stool, then go home and go to LA Fitness and work out. What's that about? Come on now. And so I'm like, you got to move. You set the tone. You got to have energy. You got to have passion. Teachers' feet, when you're addressing kids, always face this way. You can't turn your feet ever. Kids, their minds will wander. If you turn for 1 second, the line is broken. You got to keep your feet toward them. You have to learn to write like this. These are things we teach educators. And educators come to the Ron Clark Academy and they cry and they hug us and they say, I'm going to be different. I didn't know it should look like this. The Ron Clark Academy is showing teachers what excellence in the classroom means. In every classroom in our school, they see excellence. They go back and they implement it around the country and around the world. And if any of you would like to learn more, we'd love to have you come. But I want to warn you, everyone who comes to our school has to go down that slide. And when you get to the bottom, you get a sticker that says you have been slide certified. And the last thing I want to let you know is that I even had an 84-year-old lady go down that slide. She had taught over 40 years in Florida, and I was giving her the tour of the school. And she said, this place is like Disneyland for educators. This is the most amazing place in the world. And Kim said to me, she said, Ron, don't you even try and get that woman to go down that slide. I said, why? She said, because she's going to break a hip on the first drop. Because the slide is not a baby slide, it's a, I said, okay, I won't. So I was taking the old lady down the grand staircase, and she said, I think it'd be quicker if I just went down that slide. And I said, okay, and I took her over. And I got that woman up in that slide, and she was looking down because the first drop is, and she could feel it's all wax, and she was nervous. I said, are you sure you want to do this? She said, oh, yeah, I'm sure. And I said, okay. So I pushed her a little bit, and she went, and she was gone. And I ran over to look over the ledge, and she went around, and she came flying out the bottom, and we waxed the floor too. And when we did, she went flying across the lobby, and I ran to go in there and get her, and her dress went fruit up over her head. So if y'all come, y'all don't want to wear a dress. Y'all got to wear pants. And we have a pole at the end of our lobby. And the pole, the goal is to hit that pole. And our kids will be down in the lobby, and they'll be going, hit the pole, hit the pole. The goal is to hit the pole. Well, she hit the pole. So I ran down to her, and I picked her up, and she said, I am so mad. And I said, oh, my goodness. I said, did you get hurt? She said, no. She said, I'm mad because I wish I could go back and start all over again. She said, if I could have gone back, if I could do it again, she said, I would have slid in my classroom. I would have done it. And so I looked her in the eyes, and I said, I promise you, every day I teach, I'm going to slide. Not only for these kids, I'm going to do it for you too. I'm going to slide for you every day. And so now my question is can you all slide too? Can you live with passion? Can you go for it? We are all here today because we want to be social agents of change. We want to change society. We want to make an impact. But it doesn't happen when you allow failure to get in the way. It doesn't happen when you allow excuses and things to happen. You got to find a way to make it happen, and you got to be willing to dig deep. And when you do that, that's when we're going to make a difference in the lives of these kids that are being educated across this country. So I beg of you, help me push that kids need to be pushed harder, all kids, because the test scores for all our kids increase. Out of that first year, those kids got $840,000 in scholarships. This year, they got $1.5 million in scholarships. And you know what? The gifted kids got the scholarships. The average kids got the scholarships. And the kids that came to us who had never had academic domestic success, they got the scholarships too. That's what happens when you teach to the top, but you fire it up and you find a way to get kids passionate about learning. Thank you so much. Wow, cool. Take a bow. Thank you.